What's up, business besties?
We're back on our business.
Oh, hi guys. I'm just kidding.
Whoa, we're going?
Hey guys, welcome back to Back on My Business podcast, where we break down business, life, all things sales. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jessie Holland.
And I'm Alex Morales.
And today we want to talk to you guys about...
We're going to talk about something that a lot of people are very afraid of, and that is going to be
rejection. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Jessie, rejection is something that we all obviously face in all aspects of our life, relationship, jobs, work, literally everything. And I feel like a big reason why people don't get into sales is because of the fact that it is mostly rejection.
Yeah, we need to talk about it because it's really not as bad as it seems. It's absolutely normal. And if you handle rejection and learn to handle rejection better, it actually benefits you. It pours into every aspect of your life. And it's actually not as scary as
it's something you need to accept when you go into a sales role specifically. You just need to expect and then accept the fact that rejection is going to be most of your day.
Absolutely.
100%. But just like adversity, you really have to rewire your brain to look at rejection as an opportunity, because it really is there to level you up and make you get better, grow in all aspects. And you could carry that on again in sales and outside.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, especially when you're getting into a new venture, career, there's going to be, that's where you're going to get the most no's because you're learning the processes, the systems, the objections, the rebuttals, the scenarios. Every single client you sit with is so different. So you have to be okay with knowing that not every person you sit with is going to be the correct client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just rejection. It's such a big topic that we need to dive very deep on when it comes to sales, because especially when you start sales and if you've never been in sales, that's what makes so many people quit before they even have a breakthrough, is that they never handled rejection or had to have faced it so many times. So I want to bring it back to your first year, because you were doing literal door-to-door sales, which for anyone who's done door-to-door, it's not for the weak.
It's not. No, but it definitely made me into the woman I am today. Like, yeah, my first sales venture, I was cold calling and door knocking. And when I tell you, I had so much rejection, it was more than yeses by far. I've had doors slammed on my face.
How many doors have you had slammed?
I know. I wish I counted so many. I've had people get off my lawn. Who the heck are you? And it really builds, like, it creates so much like confidence. Like, if I can handle that, like, I can handle anything. At first, I took it so personally because I wasn't used to rejection. And I literally did not like being told no. Mm-hmm. I was like,
I feel like a lot of girls could probably relate to that.
Yes. But when I actually got comfortable with being told no, I was actually able to dissect the psychology behind why they gave me a no and learn to navigate through it to get a yes still. Like, there's sometimes when you get a no, but now it can turn into a yes.
Well, the growth happens from the rejection.
Absolutely.
Like, if you're not getting rejected, you're not learning, you're not growing, and you're not learning how to handle that, because you're going to get so many no's, but you need to take those no's, learn why you got the no's, so you can get less no's.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
It's all a learning experience. And then the second venture I've gotten into was sales. Same thing, would go door to door, and I was still getting no's. And my first venture, I didn't fully like get over it. Like, I wasn't too accepting of it. It still like ate me up a little bit. But in my second venture, I remember my mentor went with me to an appointment, and when I was leaving, I was like, the self-talk, I was talking really down on myself. Like, I sucked in that presentation, like, or I would have the victim mindset of the client was this, the client was that. And one thing that stuck with me that he said and literally changed my whole outlook on it is somebody would have sold it. How can I get better? So instead of me being a victim or complaining or talking bad about myself, I was able to take that scenario and make it like solution focused.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I was like, okay, now I know how to maybe I didn't create control at the beginning, or maybe I didn't handle the objection properly, or, you know, the wife wasn't paying attention the entire time. And I was able to dial it in and improve slowly in all those areas. And that's starting a business, guys. There's so many, like I mentioned, like every family is so different. Every client you sit with is so different. You have to know that your first like 100 sales presentations, you're going to learn the most, and you have to just take it as these are all learning experiences.
Yeah. And like, especially for, I know the both of us are extremely hard on ourselves. So being able to not take the no personal was a huge lesson that I had to learn, because when you're brand new and you haven't even had that many no's, you have to tell yourself that like you're not failing, you're not making a mistake. Like you needed to go through these no's and rejections to learn to not to do it again, you know? And we say it all the time, but like the people who are making the most money, our role models, the big dogs, they got way more no's than us, and they're gonna get more no's. So you really have to just embrace it, because in sales, they're gonna come. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. But it's so crucial for your first 90 days at least to know that the no's are not there to push you down, break you down, make you lose confidence. Like you just have to know they're coming and work on your craft. And the only way you work on your craft is by getting rejected.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to, when you're new, you need to be, because you're a business owner, you need to be monitoring your business. Business owners know numbers, they know all of that. So you need to dial it in. Every time you get a no, you need to be marking that down. I know I get 1 out of 3 yeses, typically, sometimes 2 out of 3. But before I started, I was closing at like 20%. I would maybe close like 1 out of 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But when I had my numbers dialed and I now know how I like my numbers, how they work, I know, okay, I need to sit 3 people now to get 1 sale.
Knowing your numbers is huge, because I see so many new agents come in, and after like say their close ratio's 30%, I see them like getting down on themselves when they went 0 for 5. I'm like, you haven't even presented enough to make those numbers work.
Exactly.
Like you haven't even presented enough. How are you beating yourself up about that? Right. So knowing your numbers is huge, and sales is a huge numbers game. So the no's, even you can work and work and work to get as many as less no's, but they're still going to be there either way. Yeah. But the thing is, if you continue to work through those no's and build your skill set, you're going to get less of them. Yeah. But you do have to know that they're always going to be there.
Always. They're never going to go away. So know your numbers, dial it in, really report all of your stuff. You should even know how many dials it takes to really get like a lead, you know, an appointment. And then, you know, your conversion, you need to know your numbers.
But learning how to handle rejection, I learned through sales how to handle rejection. Through the business, I didn't learn it from anything else. And now I can take that and apply it to literally every other aspect. Because going into sales, when you're knocking on doors, when you're calling people, cold calling people, you're getting screamed at. Yeah, it's hard on yourself, but imagine the character development you have from getting through that. Like you're standing on business, like you get to a point where no one can really mess with you, and it's just part of the game. But that's why I absolutely love sales, because it really exposes you to things that you haven't even forced yourself to try to get better on. Like if you're getting rejected in life a lot, you're probably like veering away from things that you feel like you're going to get rejected on, right? Yeah. So that's why I love going into business for yourself, because it forces you to face these things. It forces you to face your weaknesses, which rejection is a huge weakness for a lot of people. I know for me, like when I first started, I was terrified of rejection. I knew coming into this, into business myself, I was going to have to put myself into those situations. So I just embraced it right off the bat. I'm like, I am going to have to face it, be uncomfortable. I'll grow through it, but I would be lying if I like said it was smooth sailing for me. I used to have call blocks when I was doing my dials, trying to make sales.
Wait, can you elaborate on what that is for people who don't know? Call blocks.
A call block is when, for me at least, I literally would just be getting screamed at so much on the phone that I didn't want to pick up the phone again, and I would just stop making my dials. I would log off, probably cry to my mentor for a little bit, want to quit, definitely. And my mentors had to talk me through it. They're like, get back on the phones. Like, that's literally all you have to do. Just get back on. But for my first few months, I would just keep having these call blocks where I would log off. And that's why I love how in a few episodes ago, we talked about consistency, because it's habits and consistency that's going to help you push through the rejection.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced that as well, but I have a story. Like, when I first started, obviously getting way more no's than ever, and that's normal. But I remember specifically a time where it was 1 week where I was just going 0 for 5, 0 for 6 every single day. I wasn't making any sales, and I was getting so down on myself. But I knew if I just ran the play, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, and I need to keep showing up. So despite all the self-doubt, I kept dialing. I had my mentors telling me, do not have your call block, get back on the phone and keep going. And then it was on the 5th day where I did 7,000 in 1 day after blanking and doing 0 for multiple days straight.
Wow.
So it's like, know the rejection, but also know that that's part of sales. And if you know your numbers, like you were saying, you can really just be consistent and the results are going to come.
Yeah, you can track it. I love when you elaborated on call block. I actually have never heard of that. I thought you meant
I might have made that up.
I know. I literally love it. It's so cute.
I might have made that.
I'm going to start saying that. But what you said there, guys, this was the biggest game changer for me. I used to carry what happened in that sit where I felt rejection into my next sit. And when you do that, the client, like, sales is a transfer of emotions.
100%.
So when I would go to my next client, I would feel deflated. My confidence would be down, and that would affect my sales moving forward.
100%. That makes sense.
You really have to create like dementia. So after a sit, like, you have to have dementia, whether it's a sale or not. Like, again, you never want your highs to be too high or your lows to be too low. You always have to stay right in the middle. Again, because if you get a sale, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm good. You want to just forget it all and keep going, because if you go into that next sit with that low energy, the client's going to feel it, and it's going to affect your presentation in your day.
Talk to us about that, because that's a skill you have to learn, because sales in general is very emotional. On top of rejection, which is more emotional. How do you, because you'll see like top producers, and the producers that are consistently just killing it in sales are the ones that take the emotion out of the sale, and they're able to operate on a good day, on a bad day. Either way, they're operating the same.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Talk a little about that, because I know you're very good at, like, whether you get the sale or not, emotion is off of it.
By the way, guys, if you know me or if you don't, I'm the most emotional person. I literally am super emotional. I wear like my heart on my sleeve. People know when I'm sad or mad or upset. So that was the biggest thing I had to navigate getting into sales, is I had to be emotionless. Like, I had to be a robot, not my sales presentation. Like, when I'm presenting, it's lights, camera, action. I'm with you. You get the best of me. But that emotion that I had from the prior presentation, I'm numb to it. It's done. It's over. I just have to accept it and move on, because I spent so much of the beginning of my career wasting days, wasting tears, bringing myself down, being affected by it, that it held me back for so long. So I know it sounds hard. It takes a lot of practice, guys. It took me years to be able to master this, but you have to be emotionless. You kind of have to show up as a robot. And once you get that no, my best advice is you need to pick up the phone and call the next client. As soon as you're done with the presentation, call the next client, because I know that there's grateful people out there that are going to buy. I've literally gone from a no sale to the best family in the entire world who's who purchased, who was thanking me for their time. And if I would have quit then and there, I wouldn't have been able to serve that family because I was too focused on me. It's not about you. Your job is to serve people, to go and help people. So if that's your mission, you can't allow your emotions to stop you from what you're doing.
And when you take out the emotions, that's when you could really just focus on the numbers. And your numbers, girl, you know your numbers down to the T.
Yep.
And so combining them both, because knowing that no matter what, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. I want you to kind of talk a little about, because obviously it's very important that when you get a no, you're not emotional, you don't carry that with you, but also talk about the importance of when you're on a high streak, not letting that get to you either.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. Yeah, I've had days where I get a sale and I'm like, all right, I'm good, I'm going home. But the best time to make a sale, guys, I want you to write this down. The best time to make a sale is after a sale, because you are on such a high. Like if you can take that energy that it took you so long to build, maybe all morning when you were dialing or door knocking or cold calling, when you can take that energy and take it into the next sit, you're going to, again, sales transfer emotion. They're going to feel that. You feel on top of the world. And when you are getting those sales, that's momentum. You have to lean in on it. I see a lot of people be like, I made a sale, taking the week off. They don't lean into it. So they're not seeing their full potential when they like go all in.
Yeah. And I love the whole emotional aspect because it goes so much with your confidence. Like if you, like you were saying, sales is a transfer of energy. If you hold on to your nose and you bring that in, you're probably going to get a lot more no's after that. Like a lot more no's.
They feel it.
So when you have a lot of yeses, keep that confidence, but don't let it get to you. You have to stay very neutral on it. But just remember, like, the thoughts that are really going to keep you up at night and get in your way are going to be the negative ones. And I can think of so many times where I've carried it with me throughout multiple sales, and then I'm like, why when I'm down bad I'm getting more no's than I've ever gotten in my entire life?
Yeah,
it's because I'm holding on to it and keeping that, like, it does mess with your confidence at first, so you have to make sure it doesn't, and that just means staying neutral throughout it all. So exactly. I love that you mentioned that.
It's really mindset, like, and we talked about that in the other episode, so if you guys haven't listened, like, please tap into that. It's something that you constantly are working on. I'm 7 years into working for myself, business owner. I'm still working on my mindset. There's still days that I like need to work through and improve. So if you're ever like down and out, the best advice I have to give to you, like let's say you just got to know, the best advice I have to give to you is call your mentor. Ask them, hey, this happened. What do you recommend? Get solutions immediately, because if you don't fix what happened then and there, you will run into that scenario again. So you can either run into it again and not be prepared, or be like, ooh, I've never got this before. Let me call my mentor. Let me see how they'd work through it, or call like a colleague. That way, when you run into it again, you won't be getting a no. Yeah. So again, you just have to be solution focused. It has nothing to do with you. If you keep getting no's, just audit your process. Hey, Alex, can you come ride out with me for the day? Can you come door knock with me today? Listen to my tone, listen to my pace, my speed. Do you have any advice? Find a colleague or a buddy that will come with you, audit your process, and give you tips and advice to improve, or go shadow one of your top mentors. Hey, I'm going to take this whole day, take them out to lunch, treat them, because you always want to treat the people that are helping you. And hey, I just want to study everything you do. For me, what I love to do is like record people, and I literally, if I'm driving, if I'm at the gym, if I'm in the shower, like it's on. And another thing too is, guys, this is like a life hack. Record yourself. We are our worst critics. If I listen to a recording of myself, I will be able to give myself better feedback than probably anyone, because I will hear the tones, the cracks, the little things. And those are just some good ways to take your rejection and, find solutions for them immediately instead of sitting in it.
Yeah, I love how you a lot of the things, like different topics we're talking about, adversity, mindset, rejection, they all kind of have the same principles. And I love in one of our past episodes, you mentioned how adversity is an opportunity. You need to look at rejection the same exact way, especially when you're new.
So
like
good.
even when I'm training girls now, like, because I'm someone who's very hard on myself. And when I would get a no or get a certain objection that I've never gotten by a client, it's so easy for me to say like, okay, wow, I suck, or this sucks. I don't want to go through this again. But it's not a mistake if you've never gone through it. Like it's a learning lesson, and it's a lesson that needs to be learned, because that's how you perfect your craft, is you get as many no's and you get rejected over and over again. That's going to teach you how to avoid that happening.
Absolutely. All of that. Yeah. Your mindset. I love that you said that. Like, instead of calling a rejection, call it an opportunity.
It is. It's a lesson that literally needs to be learned, and
it's happening for you.
And especially, like, it's so important when you go into sales to really master your craft every day, just sharpening that axe, because the more time you pour into your craft, you're going to know how to handle rejection better, and you're going to get less of it. Absolutely. Which is so huge.
Yeah. So let's talk about sharpening your axe, because that's something huge in our business that we literally do every single day. I'm telling you, people are starting day 1 to people have been there for 6 years. Every single morning, we collectively come together and we take time to role play. And guys, like Kobe Bryant, like, you think he just walks on the court and starts playing? No, he has to do the warm up. He has to dribble the balls, run the court.
he did do that.
He does dribble. He doesn't run with it. Whatever Kobe does. He has to practice his free throws, his 3-pointers, like, you know, whatever it is. Same thing in sales. You have to always be sharpening your axe. You have to keep doing the little things that got you to where you are today. So the things I started doing 7 years ago, I'm still doing, because I need to be as sharp as possible, not only for myself, but for my people.
Well, it's just like you told me, like when I first started, until you've done at least 100 presentations or 1,000 hours, which a lot of people use that for a lot of other things outside business too. Like, unless you've done 1,000 hours of something, you haven't even come close to mastering it. So why are you beating yourself up? Why are you discrediting yourself, being so hard on yourself for getting rejected when your skill set's not even where it needs to be yet? So like, give yourself some grace. Definitely don't be extremely hard on yourself. Just work on perfecting it so that it is less rejections. But it's so true. Like, your first 90 days, I would even say your first year, you need to just be pouring into getting better and better and better each day.
Absolutely.
And that's just practice, repetitions, consistency. So embrace the rejection, accept it for sure, because that's just growth for you right there.
Yeah. Rejection's just like redirection, but you need to like hone in on what specifically happened and just go and work on it.
Yeah.
Because like, the common objections that we get in business is like, I want to think about it, or I can't afford it. Like, in every sales position, there's common objections that are within that industry. So just make sure like you do your research, get with your top dogs, like record their presentations, take notes. Like, you just have to be a student of the game.
And if you receive so many rejections, you're going to get to a point where you know it's coming. Now you know how to handle it ahead of time, which 100%. Is huge in sales.
Is how you get yeses.
It's how you get yeses, by going through the rejections, knowing they're coming because you've gone through them. And now you know how to handle them or just avoid them in general.
Another thing too is, if you know the objections you get in your industry, like for us, our script, guys, we handle all the objections through the script. So we kind of get to the point where we still get objections at the end, but start looking at what those objections could possibly be and where you can place them in maybe like your sales presentation to handle it prior to even getting it.
And most of the time when you are getting a rejection at the end of your presentation or appointment, whatever it may be, you really need to be reflecting on what you could have done to avoid it, because those objections that you just named, I want to think about it, I can't afford it, they're just smoke screens. Like, and you'll learn that in sales. these are just things people say when you could have done your presentation a little better. You could have avoided those things.
Yeah.
If you're running a sale the right way and connecting with someone, they're not going to have those objections at the end.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I've noticed in sales, it's really funny, is people are so triggered by price.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're doing this or not, but I'm getting into it.
No, get into it.
People are triggered by price. So, I mean, I've done literally thousands and thousands and thousands of sales presentations, and you'll know at the end, like, their body language, if they if you're getting like hard no's or they're not even willing to listen, like, you have to learn to like navigate through that one. I have to tell you guys, is probably like one of the most prominent ones I do run into, is people are like triggered by price, or they're too ashamed to say they can't afford it. We could do a whole
episode on
I would love to.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on handling
if you guys
certain objections, overcoming them, preventing them, body language, like all of that,
ways, tonality.
When we dive really into sales for sure.
If you guys want, I'm literally down. I can talk on all day. So yeah, that's just like one that I feel like is very common in all industries, is like getting hard no's, because people are, so with every objection you get, studying their body language, like the psychology behind it, because you want to know how to like really navigate around it.
Yeah. And the good thing about sales, in most industries of sales too, it's probably the same. There's only really a few different rejections you'll ever get. Mm-hmm. So don't be discouraged when you're starting and you're getting a lot, because it becomes less once you master your craft. But at the same time, just know, like, at the end of the day, you're going to sales. It's a skill you have to learn. But learning to handle a rejection is going to carry on and off of business. It's in everything.
It builds your confidence, because I feel like I can sit and talk to like a car dealership, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm able to now like know how to navigate and communicate, and
it's like something that most people in life avoid. So that's why I love sales, because it literally forces you to face that. Yeah. Along with so many other weaknesses that you're probably avoiding.
Yeah. So we're really talking to like the newest person considering sales. Like, we just want to let you know that if you are getting no's, or you know that it's coming, just know like it's literally okay. Just always ask yourself, like, how can I get better? How can I get better? And the best way to do that is obviously auditing your process, and like really bring accountability buddies with you to like your sales processes, and like, or learn from people, shadow people, study people. That's literally the only way I've learned to overcome, is seeing people overcome it.
And if you ever feel like you're getting a lot of rejections and no's, just go ask your mentor or your leader how many they got.
Oh, I know. I wish I kept track of all that.
Ask them how much rejection they've gone through, and you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, it's honestly like a blessing in disguise, and not everyone's gonna be the right person or clientele for like your product. So that's another thing too. Like, you may have given the best presentation ever, and you're still like, what's wrong with me? Just know, like, hey, if not them, someone else. Yeah. You just keep moving and trust the process. Really, really know your numbers. Like, you should have your business down to a T. Like, we track our numbers nightly.
You need to track everything in your business 100%.
You really do, because if you can get behind the numbers, all emotion's gone, because you want to take emotion out of it and just focus on logic. What are my numbers? How many sits do I need to have to get a sale? How many dials do I need to dial to?
Because you could really be the worst closer too, and have literally no sales skills, and you can still make as much as a person next to you if you outnumber them, if you know your numbers.
Yeah. So the coolest thing I love to see, like, 'cause when we like train people, is their first presentation ever. It's like the scariest. They're like literally so scared, and then after, they're like, oh my God, I just did that. And then 10 or 20 presentations later, they're like going through it. Like, so just know, like, even if you are 50 presentations in or 100 presentations, like, your next 10 are going to be better. Your next 20 are going to be better if you're constantly picking one or two things to improve on each time.
100%.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Like, I love sales. I literally think that people try and be too serious with it. One
day laughing at the rejections. Yeah. Like, bring it to me.
But like, even in the sales presentation, like, have fun. Like, be lighthearted. Like what we do, like sales is such a fun industry, and it doesn't always have to be super serious. Maybe like our product we sell, we do have to be very serious at some points, but when you're building rapport and connecting with the client, like you really want to come in with the mentality of how can I serve this family at the best level? And when you come in like that, you don't have anxiety, you don't have stress, you're not caring what anyone thinks. You're just there to serve and help. And if you know you gave it your absolute all and you still get a no, that's okay. Like you had one more rep under your belt. Or you got to meet an incredible family, or, you know, they might buy from you in a month or two, or they may have 3 or 4 friends that do want your services. So what I used to do is when someone would tell me no, I'd close my laptop and I'd walk out mad. No, you want to leave like, like it was so nice meeting with you and your family. Like if you guys ever need anything, like you always want to leave on good terms. Don't let them see that the no affected you, because right then and there, they're going to be like, oh, she was just trying to sell me. Instead of, hey, I helped you, I educated you. It's a no, but hey, I got to help a family today.
100%. And if you want to build character, do door-to-door.
I do recommend it. So if you are looking to get into sales, like try a door knocking one. If you want virtual sales, hit me up, hit Alex up. Like we have like a few industries we can recommend for you, but door-to-door sales, it teaches you so much resilience. It teaches you hard work. It teaches you how to like navigate and communicate with people and how to prospect, like networking and meeting people. It's all vital when it comes to sales and building a business, even when you're like recruiting a team and things like that. So it's all social skills that you're going to use for the rest of your life.
And if you're a girl considering going into sales, do it because girls crush it in this business.
We do. People like to talk to girls.
People like to talk to girls. Women.
Yeah.
But seriously, like girls, they crush it in sales. And if you know, like, you need to be a hard worker, you need to be coachable, you need to have resilience. But a lot of that you're going to learn by just putting yourself into that situation. So whether you think you have what it takes or not, put yourself into the position, because it's a skill set you're going to learn. And the skills you learn from sales and rejection, it's going to carry in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And don't think that you need to know anything about sales going in. Like my 2 sale ventures knew zip. Guys, there's mentors and trainers to help and guide you. Like that is their job, right? If they want to build a team in an agency, they're going to provide you the resources and the training. It's actually best. I prefer when I'm training someone who's never done sales, because they don't have any past programming. They're
100%.
coachable. They've never experienced anything else. So for me, if anyone's never done sales, like that's okay too, because you're a clean slate. You're moldable. We don't have to change any bad habits, you know, and just embrace the process. Again, 9-to-5s, they're incredible. We need people to do 9-to-5s, but there's only so much stretching and growth that you can possibly do. But when you get into a position where you're being challenged all the time, it is the most fulfilling experience ever, especially when you're like, I can handle this, I can handle that. And through those breakthroughs, they hurt, they suck, they're miserable. But when you come out on the other side, it's so fulfilling. It feels so good. Like you overcome. And that's what keeps me here, is like, if I'm not learning, if I'm not growing, I'm dying. Like,
it's true though.
Yeah.
And if you're, it's always amazing to see girls and women come in who are kind of closed off, haven't really unleashed like the confident side of them, and then watch them develop into like literally who they're supposed to be through sales. It's such a good thing, like beautiful thing to see. And I know it's developed me. Like I gained my confidence. I have way less self-doubt. Like I know my standards. I know how to handle rejection. I know how to carry myself. And that all came from just taking the leap to go into sales.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're a totally different person, but in the best way possible. Like it's probably
just crazy to look back. Like even after my first year from doing sales, I was like, the growth that I experienced from the rejections and adversity that I face is like transformational.
Yeah.
And I know people who have been with you since day one, they say it as well. Like, you're an entirely new woman.
Yeah. It's so cool. Like, little quiet Jessie. Like, just
I
thinking
mean,
about
when I
her.
started, I remember you telling me, like, when I met you, you were the most confident, like, put together girl. So when you told me, like, when we met, that you used to be super reserved, not confident, I'm like, okay,
I could do it too.
yeah, this is where it's going for me.
Absolutely. Everyone is capable of it. Everyone's capable of coming out of their shell. Like, where you're at and how you feel about yourself, that all can change. And sales is an amazing opportunity to put you in those positions to be forced to kind of level up and grow and learn to communicate with people. And that's what's going to create better friendships, better spouse or partner, better relationship with your family if you're able to, grow in those areas of life. So we really wanted to empower you women and, provide you a little bit of like things that you guys can take from this, hopefully, to improve how you feel about rejection, or if you're scared to get into sales, to experience it. Like, it's honestly a really good thing. So again, rejection is opportunity. Every time you get rejection, it's just an area to grow in. That's anything in life. So we really, really hope that this helps you. We really want to keep serving you guys. So if you have any topics, or if you want us to dive deeper into objection handling, tonality, things of that nature, drop it in the comments. Thank you guys. We love you so much. We'll talk to you soon.